Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Lamide Elizabeth, and in today's video I'm going to be talking to you guys about why I feel like my 2024 is starting a little bit late, like a month late. I also want to walk you guys through how I've set some of the goals for 2024, and then also kind of like an update on my quarter life crisis video. So let's get into it. So I'm definitely one of those people who typically would like to have all of their goals done by the 31st, if not like the 1st or the 2nd later, so I can hit the ground running in the new year. But for this year, I've kind of been working on my goals all throughout January. I'd rather take a month to plan and really think about it. You guys already know I have a very extensive planning system, right? So for each goal, I have to think about the tasks for that goal, the habits for that goal, certain milestones that I want to achieve. So I really did take my time, and I have around 20 goals set for this year, which I know sounds crazy, but then some of them are also sub goals. So let's actually get into why I've set so many goals this year. If you haven't already watched my quarter life crisis video, definitely go ahead and watch it. But in that video, I was essentially just talking about the fact that the life that I'm currently living is a life that 15-year-old me wanted, right? So she wanted to have a big corporate job, she wanted to live in a nice apartment, she wanted to go to particular schools, earn certain amounts of money. But years down the line later, I realized that I don't have to stay true to the person that I wanted to be when I was 15, because I know so much now. Also, another thing that I don't think I mentioned in that video is going into 2023, I actually didn't set that many goals because it was such an unprecedented territory for me moving to Dubai that I just didn't know how to set the goals that I wanted to set. And I also wanted to try setting less goals and seeing if things would be more effective for me that way. And I'll tell you now that that just doesn't work for me. Everyone has their thing. Some people like to focus on 1 thing for the year, 3 things for the year, 5 things for the year. For me, for all of my life areas, I like to have concrete goals, because like I always say, goals for me is just direction setting, and I like knowing where I'm going with my life. One of the things that helped me navigate out of that quarter life crisis feeling was 5-week social media break. It went so quickly, like it went so fast, but that really helped me. I think I needed space in my brain to be able to think and to really understand what was going on first, understanding the problem first, and then kind of figuring out a solution of where to go next. And so because of that, I was telling you guys, right, that we were developing the planner alongside sort of some of the things that I was kind of thinking and feeling and trying to figure out. I like to split my life out into 5 main areas, and in each of those areas, I had to kind of set what we called it is like a core desire and a core fear for each of my life areas. So in my wealth life area, my core desire is to achieve financial freedom and build my wealth whilst also enjoying my money. And my core fear is to be struggling with money by the time I have kids and have to worry about money all the way into my 30s. Health, I put my core desire is to feel good in my body, feel energized and vibrant, and to also look good. And my core fear is to have any illnesses that are self-inflicted due to my bad habits, and to constantly look in the mirror at myself and not like what I see. And then for career, I put to make a career out of doing the things I love and I'm called to do whilst having a significant impact on others. And my core fear is to spend my life behind a desk, in a cubicle, or in a boxed room. So basically what that does is it just got me thinking about, okay, what is it that I want out of this area of my life? And then that kind of led me to the goals that I was going to be setting for each of those life areas. Given that we are on careers, one of the things that I did this year, which I think I did a little teaser of it on my Instagram and my TikTok. I actually handed in my resignation for my job here in Dubai. I'll actually do like a proper sit down video so that I can actually really talk about it and explain the thought process behind it. But you can kind of see from my core desire and my core fear what kind of inspired that decision. Now I have this in my completed goals section, and that was a really important goal for me to do in January. So we can actually click into the goal. I've actually been thinking about it for a while, probably since like mid last year, but I was just kind of thinking about, okay, what is it exactly that I want to do when I leave, which I will definitely do a video and talk to you guys about that. But that is like my first goal of 2024 ticked off, and it's so important for me because it literally opens the door to all the other goals goals that I have set for 2024. So it was super important that I got it done in January. Kind of a shift in my mindset post the quarter life crisis is now direction is more important than the destination, because in that last 10 years of me achieving all of the things that I wanted, a lot of those things had a very defined destination and they had like a time frame, right? So like I explained before, like GCSEs have a time frame, A levels have a time frame, getting a graduate job has a time frame. All of these things have a deadline when you're typically supposed to do them. But now that I've exited out of that stage, a lot of the things that I want from life don't necessarily have this fixed deadline. And it's not as easy as well to then say, yeah, by this day, by this, by then. So the best that I can do is actually just use the goals to kind of set a direction for the things that I want, and obviously still go after them. And I still put deadlines anyways because I feel like it keeps me focused. That also kind of changed the sort of goals that I was setting. So instead of having just like output based goals for 2024, like I want to make this amount, I want to have this many followers, I want to host an event for this many people, I want to buy a new property, I want to do this, I want to do that. Instead of having all of these output driven goals, I've also learned that I need to set a lot more input goals as well. So even if I do have an output goal, so let's say for example, one of my goals is to get to 200,000 subscribers, 200,000 followers across all of my platforms, right? That's a great goal to set, and it's like, okay, work towards it. And naturally I'd have tasks of, I don't know, Q1 planning, I'd have habits of make sure you're posting every single week. Also, I've learned that if that doesn't happen, right, because you don't really know with social media, right? Definitely go and watch my Building Uncancelable Wealth video. Very important to set input goals that I can actually definitely control, because I can't control the outcome of how many followers I can get. I can do my best, but if I set input goals, which is like, okay, you want 200k followers across all of your platforms, so make sure you release 52 YouTube videos this year and put that as a sub goal. And I think that also stops the disappointment, because if you know that you've done everything that you can, then it's like the rest is you do your best and you let God do the rest, as they say. The last thing I just wanted to say, and I just wanted to touch on, because now that January is over, the new year, new me hype and the goal setting hype, it has died down. A lot of people, some of you guys may be watching this, you may have already floundered on some of the habits that you set for 2024, some of the goals that you have set for 2024. And one of the things that I put this in a newsletter midway through the year, but I think it's super critical to mention it here now as well, is that the first month of the year, the first couple of weeks and days after you've set a new goal, especially if the goal is requiring some sort of new version of you, it is going to be hard because you have never done that thing before. You haven't been successful at that thing before. So you should expect an adjustment period. For example, so I've been figuring out ways how to balance my content creation with my full-time job. So I've been trying out different ways to like get more out of one content piece. Through this month, there have been so many things that I've tried that I'm like, okay, that's actually not working, I need to try something else. Or there are so many things that I've learned, like I didn't know you could schedule your reels in Instagram itself. I didn't know you could schedule TikTok on the desktop app. So many different things that, because I'm setting this goal, like I had something set out that, okay, this is what I'm going to do. But then as I'm actually going through some of my new goals, I'm actually learning new things, and that is causing a readjustment in how I'm doing things. And that is okay. So even if you're setting new goals and you're finding that you're going through a readjustment period, or let's say, for example, you said you were going to wake up at 6 a.m. every day for the gym, and then you realize that actually you're not a morning person, so doing gym at 6 a.m. isn't for you. The solution is not to give up. The solution is to say, okay, if 6 a.m. doesn't work, maybe I need to try 6 p.m. after work, or maybe I need to go to the gym during the day. So expect an adjustment period in the first couple of weeks or month of you setting your new goals. Basically, when you're actually setting goals and you're thinking about your goals, our body sometimes our mind doesn't know how to actually distinguish between when an event is actually happening and when we're just thinking about it, right? Which is why they tell you with stress is to not worry about things, because your body will respond as if the event that you're thinking about is already happening, because it can't delineate between the two. So when it comes to you setting goals, you're going to be super excited, you're going to be super happy, and it's very easy in that moment to underestimate what it takes for you to actually act out on your goals, because you assume that the excitement that you're feeling in the moment when you're setting the goal, or the motivation that you're feeling in the period when you're setting the goal is gonna carry you through the whole year. You assume that the way you feel then is gonna be the way you feel when you decide that you no longer want to have fizzy drink, or when you decide that you no longer want to order fast food, or that you have to wake up early, or that you have to post on social media even if you don't want to, or you have to be nice to that manager that you don't like, right? You assume that the way you feel when you're setting the goals is how it's going to be, but that is not the case. Once you've finished setting the goals and all the hype is over, the dopamine is no longer there when you have to wake up at 6 a.m. The dopamine is no longer there when you have to restrain yourself from doing that thing that you usually do. And so what I like to say is you have to prepare for the worst version of you, right? You need to know, where is it that I typically stumble, and what kind of frameworks can I put in place to stop me from falling down the same traps that I usually fall down. So let's say, for example, you guys know I showed you like my gym thing for the year. Like I showed you guys, like I went to the gym in 2023 for 51 weeks out of 52, and I was mentioning that I went even when I wasn't in the mood. I went even when I was on my period. I went even when I was stressed out at work and blah blah blah. But that was because I set up frameworks that it's like, okay, I know myself, I'm not going to feel like it in this moment, so here's what I have to do. So for example, on the days that I don't feel like going to the gym, I always do upper body. It takes me like 35 minutes, and that is like my way of mitigating the feeling of not going to the gym. It's like, okay, fair, you don't want to go to the gym, so don't do like a leg day or a heavy lift day. Do something like just be on the treadmill for 30 minutes, or just do upper body day. That doesn't take that long. It's not as daunting for me to do. I did want to make this video and say these particular things not at the start of the year, because everyone is excited at the start of the year. At this point now, it's like only people who really want to make a difference are still caring about this stuff, because most people, I think it's like it's either like 3 weeks into Jan or mid-Feb when most people would have broken all of their New Year's resolutions. I don't know if I told you guys, but none of my cameras are working. So that is why I am recording on my phone. So excuse the quality. Hopefully next week we'll be back to higher quality videos, but I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.